Okay, so let's try doing this dx dy instead of dy dx and see what changes. So now I'm going to ask for a fixed y value. What do my x values vary between? And like we mentioned before, the answer is it depends. Am I on the bottom half, where it depends on y equals x squared? Or am I on that top half, where it depends on y equals 2 minus x squared? So first of all, recognize that y equals x squared is x equals plus or minus root y. And then over here, I have y plus x squared equals 2, x squared equals 2 minus y, x equals plus or minus root 2 minus y. So for this bottom half, my x starts at x equals negative root y, that's the left side. And it goes to x equals positive root y, that's the right side. And I know that because my x is negative on the left and positive on the right for my axis. And then for the top part, I start at x equals negative root 2 minus y to x equals positive root 2 minus y. And then how do I put this together? Well, what I can do is I can add up all of the rows up to this middle value here in one integral, and then add up all of the rows from that middle value up in a second integral. So I wind up with two separate integrals, which you might remember this happening in 252 as well, where in my first integral, I go from negative root y to root y for my x values. And I'll add to that the top part, where I go from x is equal to negative square root of 2 minus y to x equals the positive square root of 2 minus y. And then the only question I have left is for what y values do I do this for? And that'll add up all my rows that I need. So for what y values do I do this for? I need to see my picture again and realize that this y value is the important one. That's when x is 1 and negative 1. So y equals x squared implies that y is 1. So that y value is y is 1. So for the bottom, for the x squared one, y equals x squared, I go from y equals 0 to y equals 1. And then for the top, I go from y equals 1 to y equals 2. So I'm going to put those limits of integration on these double integrals. So again, for the top one, my y starts at 1 and goes to 2. And for the bottom one, my y starts at 0 and goes to 1. And I can think of just adding up rows from 0 to 1 and then from 1 to 2. And that'll give me my total grams of chocolate. And as long as I did everything correctly, these two integrals should give me the same answer when I finally evaluate them. And it should be the amount of chocolate on my cookie.